So, good afternoon. This is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, and I'm actually outside. Um, and as I start talking, of course, somebody starts up a chainsaw. So, not to be deterred by noisy neighbours, I just showed you the 4 decks that I have out. I thought I would sit outside as it's a nice, and it was nice and quiet. I'm sure there's some reason why we've got the noise. So I thought I would literally pull the 4 cards for us today. The first one that I actually pulled was Michael, Archangel Michael. That just jumped out while I was shuffling from Kyle Gray's Oracle deck. And I am going to pull a card from the Crystal Oracle deck and see what Crystal wants to come through, and that is the Pre-Hernite with Epidote. I am compassionate, loving and forgiving. That's a pretty card. Keepers of the Light. Odin, Psychic Insight. That's interesting. I've been getting a lot of messages about Psychic Insight. Interesting, that comes up from my Oracle deck, which is the Ancient Intergalactic Guardians. The Heart Guardian. Open up to love. So the messages that they're getting from, this was the crystal that just fell over. I think the crystal wants to make more noise than the chainsaw that's going. So Michael is spiritual acceleration. And another card has come out. I am worthy of good things from that. And as you can see, I'm sporting a splint on my arm, which was from my trip and fall that I had the other day while I was out walking. I thought I'd sprained my ankle, but I'd actually sprained my wrist. So I'm not sure I'm going to do this. So I've come inside as I was just thinking it's interesting that I actually live in a condo, and we're not supposed to be doing any of this chainsaw stuff, so it should be a nice quiet community. But anyway, here I am. As I say, I'm sporting a splint. I'm not sure whether it was my arthritis that was irritated or my fall. I posted on my Facebook page that I was walking my dog over in the farm close to us, and I had a misstep, which I went flying. I thought I twisted my ankle, but the last couple of days, like my hand's been, it's my left hand, but it's really difficult to move. I do have arthritis in my hands, so I'm not sure, but who knows? But I'm put a splint on it anyway, just to keep that thumb. So I'm hoping it's nothing more than that. But so Archangel Michael, spiritual acceleration, and as we know, the portal was open for the 9/9 portal, open this week, and that was all about, once we'd let go of all our old stuff, about you are experiencing spiritual upgrades, move forward. So as we let go of the old stuff, there was some new spiritual upgrades coming in, and there's been a lot all over the internet and Facebook about this portal. And we're now in eclipse season, so that's going to be the eclipse of the moon. That's going to be pretty intense as well. So not surprising Michael came forward with that. I also feel myself that I'm being guided in a different direction, so I'm not quite sure where that's going yet. I do have a background in nursing, and one of the things that has been speaking to me for some reason today came up about being a death doula. Not because death is fun, but it's something that I've had experience with as a hospice nurse, and it sounds like something perfect for me. So it's something that I am literally being nudged to look at. So if any of you that are watching this know of a good program that isn't, there's a lot of fake ones out there, so I'm trying to find something that will give me a certification, because as you know, to do anything these days you need a certification. But that would be awesome, because I have many interesting encounters with death and dying, and I used to say it was always a privilege to be with somebody when they passed. So that's a different direction. It doesn't mean that the dragons are not going to be there. It doesn't mean the archangels are not going to. So they're saying to me that oftentimes we get taken down a path to learn. So I've been down many paths these past few years. They've been taking me in this direction and then in that direction. I'm also, this week was about me awakening to my ancestors. They're saying not just ancestrals, but my ancestors. And in a guided meditation I did last Sunday, I actually saw them, and it was a tribe. And I've done a drawing, which I think I posted on Facebook. If I haven't, I will post it. I actually saw the backs of my ancestors looking out over mountain ranges. I believe it was some sort of tribe. I've also know that at one of my incarnations, I had the name White Hawk. That again came to me intuitively. It feels very indigenous. Not quite sure what it is yet, but stay tuned on that. So the Guardian of the Heart, which is from my Oracle deck, is interesting because we need to open up our hearts to love. I also had brunch with a couple of girlfriends today, and we were talking a lot about the heart, actually the physical heart, not so much the just about love or the heart. And it seems that there's a lot of people that are not taking care of their heart, is all I'm going to say. But I do like these I am compassionate, loving and forgiving. I think sometimes we need to remember that. And this is the pre-Henite with epidote. I am compassionate, loving and forgiving. And there was actually one more card from Kyle Gray's deck, Odin. I think if it's a little bit dark where I'm sitting. So Odin, he usually steps forward, reminding us about our psychic insight. Our third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. So a lot of people are out there. So I'm hearing a lot of people are out in the world falsely speaking their truth, saying they're speaking their truth, which isn't true. So use your third eye, which is being opened, and use your psychic insight to discern what's true and what isn't. And that's why I think I had that feeling of like you need to connect with people that know something that's good or something that isn't. We can always ask our higher selves. If you have dragons or archangels or whoever are following you, the dragons love to give us messages. So, you know, they always say, just sit quietly and ask the question. So I've got the angels and the archangels and a whole group of them saying it's the same for us. So once we sit quietly and still our mind and just open our ears and listen. You see, I've walked in from outside. I'm like, this would be cool. I'll do a reading outside. And somebody came out with a chainsaw. So there was some message in that, I'm sure. Because I said, somebody in the condo association should not be using a chainsaw. So I don't know what they're cutting down. So, but it's none of my business, right? So it's just too loud. And as you know, when I come on here, I often say my voice gets affected. So I'm sure there's a message in that. If you get a hit on it, please let me know. I'm like, I'll sit outside, I'll do a reading. This will be so cool. Chainsaw. So guess not. So that's my message for today. I did, whatever I did was at the right time for the right people. So if you're seeing this, thank you for catching me so far. What am I at? Nearly 10 minutes. Reminder that Dina and I are doing an intimate circle of card reading, intuitive art reading. We're going to be doing that on September 25th. We're limiting it to 10 people, which means that you get a reading from Dina and a reader from myself. They may be together, they may be separate. I have been guided to this oracle deck of crystals So I'll definitely be using that deck. It will be maybe dragons, it may be my deck, who knows. I've got several decks that I could use. They're going several hundred. I don't think it's several hundred, but I've got a lot of Oracle decks. So I will certainly pick which is meant for you. So we're limiting it to 10 people. Please email me at eastcoastdragonlady@gmail.com. It's $22. It's not expensive. And it might be something that we do on a regular basis. We'd love you to join us. And that's all you need to do is email me. I'll send you a link to pay the $22, and I'll send out the Zoom link closer to the day. My Dragon Hour, unfortunately, this week got cancelled at the last minute, as my guest had to be somewhere else, that she was not on the same time zone as me, and it got mixed up. I'll probably just do a Zoom recording with her and post it, or we may let you know what time we're doing it, and if some of you are around, do it then. But it's finding some time during the day probably that we'll just jump on and do that. And then in 2 weeks, I have another Dragon Hour, so hopefully that guest won't have a time conflict. Otherwise, I'll be getting messages about that. And in October, I have two Dragon Hours, and I've just booked somebody for November. So if you would like to come on my Dragon Hour, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be around dragons. I'm open to anybody to come and talk about whatever you're guided to. I love to hear what other people are doing. It's great to share our resources, and you never know what you're going to learn. So this is Saturday afternoon, so have a good rest of Saturday. I may jump on tomorrow morning if I'm guided without the chainsaw. So, okay, have a good rest of the day.